where the heck has Melania Trump been? This is a question many people have been asking for some time. The people are saying, we want to know. And it seems Melania is trying her best here to suppress some of the speculation that comes of how absent she's been from the campaign trail. Rarely, when a person's running for president, is their spouse this absent, missing almost completely from the campaign trail. And so we've talked about, is that because she doesn't really support this candidacy? Is that because she doesn't really want to publicly associate with him too much? And that type of speculation is not helpful to Trump's campaign. The fact that Trump's struggling so much with female voters polling-wise, leading in part to the broader campaign disaster he's experiencing, maybe prompts him to think, all right, it would be nice if the most important woman in my life could show America, and maybe specifically America's women, that she supports my policies. But up until this point, she's been very absent. And maybe it's because, this is my speculation, but the Trump campaign asks, or has asked her, please come out and remind people that you can stand your husband, because a lot of chatters saying stuff to the contrary. And she's also selling this memoir. So to advertise for her, she did this Fox and Friends interview. And you can be the judge. Did she protect Trump from those talking points about their marriage? Was she successful in convincing people that she stands by her husband? Or does this seem a little phony? That's up to you, not me. Here's the first clip.
How did you feel about Donald Trump running again?
I support him. I know how passionate he is to make America great again.
Mm-hmm. We saw you backstage at the RNC. Do you want to talk about why you decided not to come out on stage and give a speech like you did in 2016?
It was my decision. I think was just the time. I think was the right time. In days before, I wrote a beautiful letter to America.
Yes.
And I think in one way that letter was my speech.
The raid on...
Yeah. Okay. The letter. The letter is why she didn't speak at the RNC, which was a very, very notable decision on her part. And what fuels the conversations about the strange relationship between Melania and Donald Trump is the fact that they're never seen together, the fact that they don't live together, and the fact that former Trump administration officials like Anthony Scaramucci say that Melania Trump hates Donald more than anyone else. But she says she's supportive of the campaign. Very compelling stuff. We'll be right back to the video. Just really quickly, if you're not already, I would appreciate you clicking that subscribe button. We are really close to 1 million subscribers. You can help us get there. Easy, free way. And then we do have merch at lukebeasleymerch.com with Harris as a promo code. You can get free shipping. Super cool election-themed merch. Check it out. Back to the video. Here's the next interview clip from the interview.
And mainstream media branding him as a threat to democracy, calling him vile names. They only fueling a toxic atmosphere and giving power all of these people that they want to do harm to him. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. The country needs to unite. And I encourage everybody to read my letter that I wrote on July 14 again, because that cannot continue.
The letter was very powerful. What made you get to the point of writing that letter?
That's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt.
How do you feel when people say they don't like him? What do you wish they knew about him?
That he is really a family man. He loves his family. He loves this country. And all he wants to build better and prosperous.
Yeah, he's just strong. He's not afraid to.
No, he's not
talk
strong.
About the way it really is.
You could see the way he was when he was shot.
So I'm completely sympathetic, regardless of the nature of their relationship, to the parts of this interview, which was much of it, of her talking about, as you saw, sort of connected to that point, her response to and feelings about the assassination attempt. That's not something to be joked about or criticized. So we set that here. Over here is her saying that Donald Trump's a family man. I saw someone say, yes, Trump's such a family man, he's had multiple. Yeah. I don't know if you can sell that one to us, Melania. I hate to break it to you. But the person who was found liable in a trial in front of a jury, civil trial, of sexually abusing a woman, a man who struggles to articulate his own positive feelings towards his children, who struggles to associate with his wife, as you're doing the interview, awesome, but still not sitting all together too much, and who has done so much damage to American families. I don't know if that's the family man that you're trying to portray him to be. But again, this seems to be an effort to save Trump from the very points that I'm making, because she's saying, no, you can't say that even I don't support him, because I'm coming out and saying I do support him. Doing so very late in the game, but doing so. But again, words, talk is cheap, as they say, Melania.
So I think American people need to decide what they really want. Maybe some, strong tweets, but everything else great for this country. So it's all in the American people's hands on November 5th.
Indeed it is. Few things upset me more than when people reduce the criticism of Trump to maybe he'll have some mean tweets. I don't give one single you-know-what about the mean tweets at this point, okay? That's not the criticism. It's a bad bonus, but it's not the core criticism. I want you to explain, maybe not Melania, because she's not a campaign spokesperson, but whenever they try to do that, listen, he had everything going right, and maybe he does some mean tweets. What you gonna do? I remember Ben Carson recently, I think it was, saying, and listen, yeah, I get it, the mean tweets, they can be upsetting, but think about all the good stuff. The criticism, I can't go through it all. Y'all will get mad. My regular viewers have heard it so many times. But it's the democracy-related things, like him calling for the termination of the Constitution. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. Search it up. Some people have omitted that from their memory. Or him trying to stay in power despite losing that election. Democracy. It's his economic proposals leading to 400-plus economists coming out and saying that would be terrible and Harris's plan would be good. It's him showing he has a complete inability to lead whenever leadership is necessary, like during the pandemic, whenever we were hit with a crisis. And the studies in the aftermath of this have indicated Trump's mismanaging and his decision to put politics above people and to not take it seriously for so long led to the public health crisis being exacerbated to the tune of hundreds of thousands of additional deaths, the crime crisis being exacerbated with the historic spike in homicide rates, and the economic crisis being exacerbated as we saw an economic crash that was worse than it had to be. And we could go on. His decision to specifically and explicitly pick justices who would overturn Roe v. Wade, and that's what they did, leading to now deaths we're hearing about because of these Trump abortion bans. And again, we could spend hours on this. But those are the criticisms. Stop with this. I guess y'all just hate the mean tweets. Now, one other big part, again, he did talk a lot, but we've heard these sorts of things, so and it's less political for the sake of this show. Did talk a lot about her reaction to the assassination attempts. Totally empathize with her on that and hate and denounce the fact that that happened. The other thing that really upset me in this interview was this idea.
I think in one way that letter was my speech.
The raid on Mar-a-Lago, the house manager texts you and says the FBI is outside the house. They had access to my bedroom, closets, office, and rummaged through my personal items. Even searched Barron's room, you say. So how invasive was that? Did it make you angry? How did you feel?
Yeah, it made me angry. Yes, invasion of privacy. And the way it was done I was really surprised.
And you told your house manager, just leave it, don't touch anything, don't put it back. You wanted to see it for your own eyes. With your own eyes, what did it look like when you walked back in your house that had been raided?
I saw unpleasant stuff that nobody wants to see it.
Okay, so expressing grievance about the fact that the FBI searched their property. And you hear this talking point so often from MAGA. The FBI, they even searched in Melania's closet. Can you imagine? They even rummaged through Barron Trump. There's a line, and that crossed it. Okay, Barron Trump's room. As if they're not understanding what was happening. Yeah, it's crazy. Don't allegedly commit crimes and then you won't have that happen. But the privacy protections you have make it such that prosecutors can't just do that willy-nilly. The FBI can't just do that willy-nilly. They have to get a court-approved lawful search warrant based on cause that then allows them to search your property like that. And that's what they got. That's what they did. By the books. So this weird thing that keeps going, like, tell us what it was like. Because it's so unjust. No, if you choose to marry someone who ends up at least producing enough compelling evidence of a potential crime that a judge is able to sign off on a search warrant, yeah, your stuff's going to be rummaged through. That's the system we have. You've never taken issue with it up until now. So I don't know about that. You tell me, did this interview put to rest, is that the term? Put to bed, set aside, squash, smush down, crush the criticisms about Melania's seeming unwillingness to more consistently show her public support for Donald? And is this going to help Trump with any demographics? Women, for example. Because look, the most important woman in his life is saying in an interview that she supports him. You tell me in the comments. And otherwise, make sure that you become a member by clicking that join button below.